All right, guys, here we go. We're going to do a little unboxing of the Hudson. This is the box that it comes in. Very nice, actually. The only packaging I know that kind of rivals this is the STI packaging. Love STIs. But these are magnets, basically. Magnets open up, and here reveals your gun in all of its glory. Now, of course, this is not... I've fired a lot of rounds through this already. So far, we've had about 600 rounds through this. We've had one failure to feed, but we're going to get to that here in a little bit. So here's the gun. It's already got a magazine in it ready to go for you guys. So we're just going to chamber check, nothing, and we're going to put that down right here. Kind of go through the rest of the gun, or rest of the packaging. Open up the packaging. You've got the owner's manual, which basically does you diddly. It basically just tells you everything that, you know, those different types of things. Shows you how to field strip it, but it doesn't show you how to go into the lower assembly, which I don't like. I want to know everything about the gun because you know that there's not going to be any videos about how to unload or how to take this down, disassemble this pistol. Got a H9 sticker, got a gun lock, and then it comes with 2 additional magazines, so 3 magazines in total, and of course those are loaded up, ready to go. I was really impressed by the packaging. I think the packaging did a really good job of kind of capturing the gun's kind of sleekness and sexiness as a whole, the gun's personality as a whole. So I think Hudson did a really good job. This is really strong foam, so if you wanted to take your gun, put it in there, and then travel with it by putting this in a lockbox, I think that'd be a really good option because it doesn't move around at all. So they take it very seriously. All right, so let's look at the actual gun itself and check this, make sure it's unloaded. It can't hurt you, me, or anybody else around me. Initial thoughts and impressions of this pistol. Wow. that's my thoughts and impressions of the pistol. Just wow. So the gun has the lowest bore axis I think I've ever had in my hands. Now what that means is that the gun's bore sits low into the hand in relation to the shooter. Now if I held a gun like this and shot it, the gun has leverage over me, right? And the energy and momentum and inertia that is propelled by the bullet in the gas, it's going to go somewhere. And because it has leverage over me, it's going to rise. So essentially, the lower the gun sits into the hands or into the wrists, the less felt recoil that you're going to have over the pistol. And so this gun already does a fantastic job doing that so far. And then, of course, its guide rod spring sits lower, and because it sits lower, the energy and momentum goes back into the shooter and back into, I guess, my wrist and hands. So it minimizes on felt recoil, but there's still recoil. It's just not very much muzzle rise, if that makes any sense. When you shoot the gun, there's more this instead of this right here. And it's most times other guns are just like this and this. This is just reducing this, not necessarily reducing this, if that makes any sense. Let's go over some of the features of the gun. So the first and more notable feature of the particular firearm is its trigger. Love this trigger. This trigger is kind of like what a trigger you'd normally see, but it's kind of backwards, obviously. And it's a metal. And I want to show you this wall right here. Here's the wall right there. Watch this. Little hiccup, and then the gun breaks. Now watch this reset. There it is. Press, break. Super short movement and travel. It feels like about a 5.5 pound, 5 to 5.5 pound trigger pull. So it's not super light or crisp like a 1911, but it is a really good compromise for a striker fired gun. And that's essentially what you're getting. You're getting a 1911, and it's like a 1911 and a Glock had a baby, and this is what you came up with. A couple of noticeable features is you got the panels here that you can swap out for something else if you don't like it. You've got ambidextrous controls as far as slide lock, but not safeties. I'm pretty sure you can swap out that safety if you're left-handed. Everything's nice and slim, as you can see. Nothing really sticks out, nothing really gaps or gapes outward. Pronounced beaver tail right here, which is something I don't really care for. I like getting my thumb across the back strap, but here when I draw, but here I can actually do that. There's also a place that you can add a safety, an external safety for some of the more traditional 1911 guys. And the safety can be ambidextrous, left or right, or it can be both. You just contact Hudson and they send you out a kit. Apparently it's really easy to install. The sights that it comes with is some Trigicon. It looks like HDs basically, but the back is not HDs. The back are these blacked out, kind of serrated area. I do like how it like cuts off right here so that you can rack it against your clothes if you need to with one-handed. And yeah, coming down here into the magazine well, I'm surprised the magazines load and unload very, very easily. I like how they load and unload very, very easily. So there's space that you can wiggle the magazine around, and that's to show you how the tolerances aren't so tight to where the magazine's not gonna fall out like sometimes you get with a Glock. I like all this checkering in here. This checkering looks really nice. Same thing with the back. Checkering looks really nice. Yeah, I hurt my finger. There's a nice little space right here where you can, if you're having a problem, grab it, strip it out. There's a lanyard loop right there and an accessory rail, although the accessory rail is kind of dumb. I'm gonna show you why here in a second. So that's pretty dumb. Not only does it look dumb, it's not really functional, because when I get my hands on it, these prongs poke into my hand something fierce. There's no space really between my hands, and I've got smaller hands, so imagine somebody having a bigger hand, they're not gonna get a left hand in here. It's really impractical. I can't operate it. I have to reach down here for my thumb. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So that was just dumb. I understand that a lot of people want to have lights or lasers on their guns. I'm just not one of them. So having this rail here, it's aesthetically pleasing, I guess, but it's just unnecessary in my opinion. It just doesn't work. So yeah. Kind of looking at the top of the gun now. I think they did a really good job with this whole, these lanes. Looks really nice. This indeed is not a backstrap safety. It looks like it if you're a traditional 1911 guy. You're like, oh great, it's got a backstrap safety, like the XDs, I'm gonna buy it. It's actually not a backstrap safety. Doesn't do anything. It looks like it. It'd be cool. I guess it'd be cool if there was, but I don't know if it's necessary. I don't even know if you can do it. One of the other notable features that I do enjoy about this gun is the front cocking serrations. Most guns, their cocking serrations are not where you'd have it for a press check. This gun is actually, they have them in the right and correct spots for me as my hand, right? And so that's something that I do like. So good job, Hudson. So one of the things that I know is going to happen is people are going to ask me how these compare to a Glock 19 and a Glock 17. So here's my Tier 1 Glock 19, and I'm going to show you kind of how these compare in size, if you will, kind of line everything up the best that I can. And as you see, it's a little bit longer. But it is thinner. So it's thinner, but it's longer than a Glock 19. So it's a little bit bigger than a Glock 19, but it's not as big as a Glock 17. If you look at this, line these things up as perfect as I can. So as you see, it's not as long. It's about as, the pistol is a little bit shorter than the grip on a 17. So if you see where my hands are on the 17, and then you look at where my hands are, it's about the same kind of length, just a little bit shorter, but it's not equal to it. See the width of the two? Hudson boasts just a little bit slimmer on the actual hand, the pistol grip, and it does feel slimmer. All right, so let's do some shooting with this bad boy and show you kind of my experience I've had with the gun thus far. We're at 25 yards on a 3/4 size target. Very cool. Doesn't want to lock back on the last round. It's not because of it's not because of the gun, it's because of me. I'll show you real fast. Let's get a bullet in here. I have a higher grip upon the gun, and because I understand that the more leverage I have up on the pistol, the better I am. And so this is kind of how I can shoot and be a smaller guy and keep guns that shoot very well. So if you see it, you'll watch. The gun will lock back on its last round. So that's not the issue. The issue is just me as a shooter. Nor do I care. I like having more leverage upon the pistol than anything else. Neither here nor there. I gotta tell you guys, I'm extremely impressed with this gun. $900 is $917 is what I spent on it, and I've got a good deal. And I love the gun. In fact, I'm not saying that I'm gonna ditch Glock and carry this gun, but I am saying that this is one of my more softer shooting, more really impressive guns. As somebody who just shoots guns all the time, it just becomes like what Steve Fisher always tells me. It's a gun, right? And you pull the trigger, it goes bang, bullets come out and hit the target. And he's right. A lot of guns are just guns. They're just the same thing over and over and over again. This gun is different though. It feels different. It's designed different. It looks different. It's a different concept. And I guess that's what we had to have, right, in the gun industry. We had to have a company like Hudson who just said, we're gonna do things differently. All the other companies seem sometimes to be trapped inside of a box, inside of a big echo chamber, where only they keep certain designs or certain looks and they don't want to deviate. But this is different. And I think that's one of the things that I like about it, right? If you've only, it's a crude illustration, but if you've only dated white girls and you see a Puerto Rican or a beautiful black woman, you're like, that's different. This is kind of what that's like. Sorry for that crude illustration. That's just kind of how I think about it. The sights are really nice too. It's a Trijicon HD front and this kind of different back, but it does help me. I feel like it has more combat sight pictures, so where that dot is where the bullet's gonna go. I may swap them out. Let's go for this A zone. I may swap them out for something else. Sorry, I'm not doing a good job hitting that A zone at all. But I do like the gun a lot. Let's give you a side view of what's going on and up close look, some slow-mo and things like that. Do a field strip of the gun. You see the gun's unloaded, can't hurt you, me, or anybody else around me. And let's, I don't know if I want to do this, but I don't care. Pops open from that push. This opens all the way up. Slides right off. Cool. Ooh, you can see. So the whole barrel assembly and the whole assembly of the gun is obviously really unique. And you can just see how nasty it is. Usually you'd have a guide rod spring right here, but that's just not how they've designed the gun. I'll show you the assembly in a second. Some of you all may know what you're looking at, some of you may not. I'm not going to sit here and explain it because I'm cold and I don't want to waste any more of my time doing it. The gun comes lubed already, obviously, but the gun goes together and it comes back out very nicely. Here's where the recoil spring system is. They have that kind of going into the lower part of the gun. And you can feel it. It thumps a little bit this way, but it doesn't do anything this way, so to speak. Look at all those brass shavings almost. Just lube and dirt. I don't know if they're brass shavings or what they are, but that's what it looks like. Lock it back, rotate it, push it back in, not to fall. Very simple. I mean, it's stupid simple. I like it though. Not hard to, you know, to put back together or to take apart. Imagine that's all you need to do in order to clean it, keep it in maintenance, or else that they would make a note of it. So really quickly, one of the things people are going to ask me is this better than a Glock? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you just yet. And the reason why is because the reason why I shoot a Glock is not because they have the best triggers in the world. The reason why I shoot a Glock is because they're reliable. And I can really shoot any gun, right? It doesn't matter really what gun it is, handgun it is. Is it small enough for me to carry? Can I conceal it? And does it have a good amount of magazine capacity, so 15 or more rounds? And considering all those things, does the gun always want to work? So I've not had any light primer strikes. I've not had anything like that with this particular gun. I've had one failure to feed with this gun, meaning that I guess the magazines are so tight that as I tried to chamber around the first round, or as I was shooting the gun, it was like 1, 2, 3, the gun locked back to like right here. And then all I had to do was give it a quick tap and it was just fine. And I found that happen. If I've run 35 mags through this, probably about 7 or 8 times, I've loaded a magazine, I've gone to rack it, and it just stays out of battery right here. And I have to tap it. I think that's because of the magazines. I don't think that has anything to do with the feed ramp or the bullets or anything like that. But yeah, that kind of, the stiff magazines are the thing that I do not like about this gun. Hopefully, as I shoot the gun more, these magazines will open up a little bit more and or just lose their tension and be a little easier to load. It's very hard on my hands, so I have to use like one of those speed loaders. But yeah. Interesting. I got something to share with you. Okay, so as I was looking at the gun, I noticed the guide rod right here. You see how that's coming out? If I turn it, it goes back in. I think it's a screw. I think this screws in there and it's starting to unscrew itself. So we're gonna look at it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm not. I just felt it. Yeah, it screws, and I bet that's how the whole spring assembly comes out. So that is going to have to something you watch for. Obviously, you don't want to like Loctite that or do anything like that. I'm doing a little bit more screwing than. Okay, now it's screwing. And now it is stopped. Let's see if it goes back. Obviously they have it like that for a reason, so that the gun can, or the guide rod can go in and out. Of the, there we go. So 700 rounds. I had to screw it back in. 730 rounds, had to screw it back in. But one failure to feed, and so I don't know if that's anything to write home about or whatnot, but hey, just part of it. Some of my observations, unbiased observations. So, to conclude, I'm going to put it through a dirt test, I'm going to put it through a water test, I'm going to put it through a sand test, but not just yet. I want to have a little bit more information about the gun, call up Hudson, find out how to disassemble the entire gun, because as soon as I get sand, dirt, and water into it, I'm going to want to clean it thoroughly. I can't clean it thoroughly unless I know how to fully disassemble it. And, you know, I just picked it up yesterday, so I'm not going to do it here today because I'm going to set it off to have a holster made for it. So, be looking out for this gun in future reviews. I'm going to put 2,000 rounds through it, come back to it, let you know. But so far, I want to give you my impressions. If you're thinking about purchasing this pistol, based off of my initial thoughts, I would say that it's worth the money. I like the way the gun feels. It's very easy to shoot, and like I said, I'm excited about the pistol. And I think it's a good investment, but like I said, you just have a couple of issues, like the magazines being really stiff, the failure to loads, and I had one failure to feed. So I don't know if that's anything else other than I just blame those things on the gun. I don't blame those things on the ammo. I don't blame those things on operator error. I just blame them on the gun. So far, I'm very impressed with the gun. Very reliable. I've not introduced into it different conditions other than this cold weather, but so far I'm impressed. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of first overlook of the Hudson H9, and I hope that this kind of helps you in thinking whether or not you would like to or would not like to purchase the gun. I don't know a lot about the gun, so any questions you ask, I may be able to answer. I may not be able to. So anyway, hold fast, stay the course. True Exodus here, saying God bless.